So, first bit of news we have is the Giants are said to be intrigued by Quinn Ewers, which is interesting because we haven't really heard much, I feel like, about him in the last month or so. He's kind of been lowering his head and kind of staying a little quiet there. There was even rumors of him going back to college because he had one more year left of eligibility and perhaps going to another school and just taking an NIL deal to set himself up for life. Because let's be honest, guys, some of these guys are getting set up for life. Like Carson Beck, who went to Miami, replacing Cam Ward for spending the last 3 seasons in Georgia. I mean, he's making millions.
Yeah.
Making the kind of money that you and I wish we could make at some point in our life, let alone in 1 year. Playing college football. It's insanity. But Quinn Ewers is a guy that, like I said, he came to the conclusion of it's time to go into that draft. And we know that there's been ups and downs for him this year. But like I said, the rumor is the Giants are intrigued by him. He is kind of an interesting option overall if we don't get a top flight cornerback, because we don't know what's going to happen. We might not get a top flight quarterback. And when I mean top flight, I mean like top of this year's flight. Like, just be clear on that. Sanders or Ward, like one of those two we don't get. Second round comes around, Dart's already gone. Maybe that third, fourth round, Quinn Ewers starts looking good.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of like when you're starving. And there's that thing that's been sitting in the fridge for a while, and you're like, didn't look appetizing last time, but I'm starting to get hungry enough that I just don't care anymore.
The leftovers have been under 5 days. You're like, huh.
Yeah, he's like that peanut butter and jelly sandwich option. Not to use Joe Shane's things. I know he loves some peanut butter jelly, but like you do that when like there's nothing else to make and you're just too lazy to cook something. Like a bowl of cereal. That's what I feel like Quinn Ewers is. Because he's a guy that there's some potential, and he's going to be probably a decent backup in this league. But there's some potential for him to be a starter, but I don't think a lot necessarily. I don't know. I think his ceiling to me is like bottom end starter. Like a career like, and I'm not saying he plays like him, but a career like a Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Like that kind of guy, like a guy that will get a chance to start at some point in his career probably, but probably won't be able to hold on to the job. This is from Essentially Sports. He said, Ewers played through a torn oblique while his backup QB, Arch Manning, stepped in during crucial moments when needed. However, in 3 seasons at Texas, he racked up 9,128 yards and 68 touchdowns against 24 interceptions. Impressive? Yes. But when Texas needed him the most, the consistency wasn't there. However, the arm talent was never the question. It was about delivering when it mattered. That's, we talk about things all the time, like we can go ahead and, we can go ahead and develop a guy, fix some of the issues. We talk about that kind of stuff all the time. Footwork, ball placement, things of that nature. I'm going to tell you right now, having a set of balls is one thing you can't fix.
No.
You either got it as a quarterback or you don't. You either got that ability not to play afraid or you don't. You either got that ability to go ahead and rise up when it matters the most or you don't.
It's if he hasn't figured it out in college times, he's not going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's one thing if you're in a spotlight in a big game at the beginning of your career in college, but at this point, like, you got the physical fortitude to step up in a needed situation to make a play happen. That's an issue. That's something you don't fix. 100% what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. He had the injury this past year, like they said, with the torn oblique, but you still saw him getting yanked out of games at times. Like, that's not good. And we talked about this last year when he's going to come out of the draft last year saying, you know what, maybe he should, because if Arch Manning comes in and does well, it's going to make him look bad. And guess what happened this year? Arch Manning came in and made him look bad. And people kind of forget, and this happens in professional, happens in college football, happens on every single level, basically. People forget that you're injured when they see somebody else come in and play better than you. They don't look at it as, oh, you're fighting through an injury. Thank you for doing that. They look at it as, you're a bum. This guy played better.
Pretty much.
Right,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You just lost like 3 toes in your foot, your step of foot, but whatever.
Yeah, the Ronnie Lott of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what it is. I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to level it out and say it what it is, because that is what it is. Like, we should care more than we do. But half the time you don't hear about the injury that much because the players don't want that target. And that's also part of that problem, is you don't hear it shoved to the fans going, this guy's injured, be patient. This guy's injured, be patient. You hear, he's playing.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't play well because, we all knew about the oblique issue during the season, but it wasn't like they were like, oh, I can't believe this guy's even playing. He's got a bad oblique injury. Like, no one talks about that. So, I give him credit for playing through. But again, it wasn't just last year. This wasn't a new issue, him not being able to play well when it mattered the most. You got the clutch gene or you don't have the clutch gene.
Yeah. I want to see 2-minute drive, be able to step up in the pocket and make a big throw.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, not to just say this because it's the Giants podcast, but he's the classic example. Look at a guy like Eli. Let's be honest here. We say that all the time as Giants fans. You can't spell elite without Eli. But what it boils down to it is, and I'm going to get some slack for saying this potentially, he wasn't that elite. What he was he had the ability to stay healthy and the ability to do it when it mattered the most. Those are elite traits that made him elite as a result. If you took either one of those things out, Eli is not Eli.
Well, yeah, it's a very obvious statement. Take anything.
No, but I'm saying, like,
they trade away. But I know what you're saying. 100%.
You could sit there. Let's say a guy like Brady. Let's say a guy like Manning, Breeze. These guys who were like considered the best of that generation. You could sit there and say, "Oh, let's take one or two traits away from them." They're still a damn good quarterback.
100%. Eli's still a good quarterback, but he's not. You're not wrong for what you're saying. I'm just saying, just pointed out like the obvious there. Like, yes, his ability to stay healthy consistently, this way he was dependable, was that made him elite. There was no forgetting about him. Like there was, well, I'm
just saying. Well, let's not talk about the clutch, not the healthy thing.
I get that. Let me do my rant before you keep interrupting.
Go for your rant. Go for your rant over here.
You're ruining the rant.
Over here.
You're ruining the rant. Jeez.
I apologize to the rant.
Yeah. Interrupting my rant with your rant. But yes, really stay healthy is like I joke about it all the time. The best ability is availability. And if you have a healthy quarterback, which we're talking about clutch, but you're also talking about injury too with oblique, that you don't know if he was healthy through the whole year or not. So he wasn't available to play. Archie comes in and makes him look bad. Eli was also elite because the ability to step up in the pocket and play clutch. He also had the ability to get hit, get back up, walk off the field, and then come back on like nothing ever happened.
Yep.
That's something you can't teach. That's something you can't teach.
But I'm saying, if you took those two things out, Eli is not that great a quarterback at that point. To be honest, he would not have stayed as a starter potentially even in the long term. He'd be like Kirk Cousins, basically.
But also to counter to that, everyone thought Daniel Jones had that Eli trait where he just roll off after
Daniel Jones had a dopey look in his face like Eli had, and people are like, "Oh, look, I like that look."
Yeah, he knows how to get beat up on. Just forget about it.
Pick on him. He's actually a nice guy. I feel bad. We're going to talk about it in a minute too, but yeah, like I said, I think if you want to take him in the mid round, if you really like him in the mid round, you think he's got some potential to be a starter, go for it. What the hell? But if you're intrigued by him, you can't be intrigued in him as like a first or second round. He's not that guy. No. Definitely not first round, third overall, but even the second round, like you got the second overall pick in the second round. Like that's no. Yeah, that's way too early. I'm not taking that unless you like trade down and get extra picks and then take him and then.
Even still, to me, he's the third round guy.
Yeah, to me, he's that guy. Like, if he's there, he's there. Like I said, the bowl of cereal, peanut butter jelly sandwich, that weird thing in the fridge you don't know quite what it is, but it's been there for a while.
The Costco frozen meatballs that sit in the bottom of your freezer for the past 5 months.
Anything from Costco is.
They got these cream dumpling things, bojikos or something.
Delicious. I don't know what it is, but I'm already intrigued by cream and dumplings. Yes.
Delicious.
Anyways, we're getting too hungry here.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please.
Please,